Au-delà des nuages, des vents qui grondent, sur terre, dans le ciel, le pouls du monde, info qui tourne et qui résonne, le doc news capte chaque onde, les nuages dansent le bas.
Salut à toutes et à toutes, c'est le Doc News pour de la news, j'espère que vous allez bien. Moi ça super, on est reparti pour un petit sujet. Comme vous l'avez vu, Trump a été élu au pouvoir. Autant vous dire que la session nettoyage va être assez profond. Et oui, on va regarder une de ses vidéos lorsqu'il parlait du... On va faire un peu du démantèlement. Comme vous l'avez déjà vu aussi dans les vidéos, que le Capitole et tout était déjà verrouillé avant les élections. C'était déjà un signe à Vancouver, mais attendez, je vais vous balancer du plus gros. Après, on aura aussi une vidéo sur Tonton Poutine. Après, on ira direction voir quelqu'un d'autre. En même temps, n'hésite pas à liker, partager et abonne-toi. Et on est parti pour une bonne petite dose.
Reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all, and corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
2 decades, we're not just full of
Et là, une vidéo de site de Poutine juste après l'élection de Trump. Deux décennies n'ont pas été seulement plein d'événements cruciaux, mais c'est aussi. Ça va faire mal aussi parce qu'on va perdre aussi notre nouvel ordre mondial aussi parce que vu que Trump maintenant est aux manettes et Poutine, je peux vous dire la tempête va être assez violente ces prochains jours, voire très très violente.
2 decades were not just full of crucial and quite often dramatic events of truly historical scale. Before our eyes, a completely novel world order is taking shape, and it's unlike everything that we know from the past. For example, Westphalian system or Yalta system. New powers are emerging. The nations understand more clearly their interests, their self-worth, uniqueness and identity. They're ever more insistent in achieving their goals of development and justice. At the same time, societies are coming across a greater number of new challenges, from breathtaking technological breakthroughs to devastating natural catastrophes, from outrageous social inequity to massive waves of migration and most acute economic crises.
We have an army.
Après, pour finir cette petite vidéo qui sera en avant-première au passage, ben, on est parti pour notre ami le général Mike Feiler. Nous avons une armée de soldats numériques. Cela reste pour l'éternité. Continuez à faire valoir la vérité. Amenons-vous, ça y est, pourquoi vous êtes là et aux nouveaux qui rejoignent le combat, bienvenue dans le camp de la bataille numérique. Et oui, c'est une bataille qui est très très longue aussi.
Digital soldiers. What we are now, what I call them, because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency. This was irregular warfare at its finest in politics. And that story will continue to be told here. But we have what we call citizen journalists. Okay? Because the journalists that we have in our media did a disservice to themselves, actually more than they did to this country. They did a disservice to themselves because they displayed an arrogance that is unprecedented. And so the American people decided to take over the idea of information. They took over the idea of information, and they did it through social media.
J'espère que cette vidéo vous aura plu. N'hésitez pas à liker, commenter, partager et que l'amour de l'univers soit de nouveau sur cette planète, que plus aucune corruption ne soit dans ce monde. Et comme j'ai toujours été moi, un guerrier de la lumière, autant vous dire, on va s'amuser pour balancer toutes des vérités. Je peux vous dire, ça va être assez rock'n'roll ces temps-ci. Donc voilà, on se retrouve pour de prochaines news. Portez-vous bien. Big up, tchuss!